Okay, Professor Bear here. I'm going to talk a little bit about this Songs project. Basically, I love, fairy tales and Wizard of Oz and stuff like that. And so I'm basically going to make the Wiz with AI plus humans. And I'm going to show my process every day. So this is what this Oz songs thing is about. So what we're looking at here is just some design of the Dorothy character. So I'll talk about how do I do this? How do I try to keep a consistent character? What works? What doesn't work? AI changes so quickly that what might work in 3 months may not work now. But what I do is I just do it. So I'm a teaching professor for people who don't know at Northeastern. I teach 5 AA classes a semester typically. A lot of them involve games, art, things like that as well. And so this will also be used for my classes. So when students ask, hey, how do I do this? How do I clone my voice? How do I, composite? How do I whatever? How do I write an agent? How do I do this? How do I do that? Well, I'll have some videos for it. There's a lot of stuff. So rather than try to do everything, my goal is to try to do a lesson a day. Think like a 3-minute, 5-minute video a day, just teaching something. Teaching how to use Weavy, teaching how to use Hexfield, teaching how to prompt, teaching how to make a custom GPT, teaching how to clone your voice, whatever it is. I'm not certain of what I'm going to teach what day, but this thing is basically like a journal, a video journal for me, which I think can help other people learn. One thing about learning is what I found about YouTube is kind of weird. There are a lot of people who go to a free YouTube thing and just whine and complain. If that's you, don't come to my YouTube. If you have a positive attitude, great. We love you. But I'm not going to do the bell thing, whatever, subscribe thing. If you're one of these people who are just negative about everything, go to a different channel. There are a bajillion of them out there. Don't go to my channel. And so if you are somebody who wants to learn, has a good attitude, then you're welcome. But this is a lot for me and for students. And so this is a way of me just sort of documenting my process, because my big thing is learn by doing. And this is particularly true with AI, because with AI, this stuff changes so quickly that, you just have to learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. Another thing about AI is a lot of people just think AI is writing a prompt and you're done. The analogy that I use is like poetry or writing a novel. Most anybody, 99% of the world, can take a pencil and start writing something. So they could start a poem and they can start a novel. But real novelists, people are really good at it. And real poets, people are really good at it. Real songwriters, people are really good at it. They refine and they refine and they refine and they refine and they care about what they do and they refine. That's AI. AI is a craft. Yes, you can get something. I'm going to stop this. I'll just set it going again. Or a little Dorothy thing here. I think poetry is a good analogy, or writing is a good analogy. Anybody can sort of write something on a piece of paper. That doesn't make them Stephen King. And so there's a craft in the art to doing AI effectively. Yes, you can get something by just typing something in, but mostly what you'll get is just kind of okay. If you want to do something special with AI, you're going to have to treat it like a craft. You're going to have to treat it like a writer takes their craft seriously, or a poet, or a songwriter, or anybody else. It's an iterative process, but it's a very, very powerful tool. You can iterate so fast and do things so fast and do things that just simply couldn't have been done 3 or 4 years ago, like what I'm looking at now. This is a Dorothy character that I designed. Toto character I designed, and now we're doing things. So just go back a little scene here. So little things I did is I didn't like her boot. So then I switched her boot to Timberland boots, which I like. But we'll talk about how to do that. So if we look at these two things here, this is sort of the same picture, except for I replaced the boot and I put in a poppy field, and I can put her anywhere. And what I'm going to do in the series is basically just do things. I'm going to do things for myself. That is, I'm going to make this my version of the Wiz, or Wicked or whatever your favorite thing. But I'm going to document what I do. I'll make mistakes. I won't do everything perfect, and AI will change. I'm going to start this. My suspicion is I do a lesson a day. I'm doing this the next year or two. There's a lot of stuff to learn here. But the way to start is to start. Step forward. So I'm just going to start, as I do things that I need. For example, if I need to replace her boot, yeah, I'll just make a video on how I do that. I need to create a voice for Dorothy. I'll show you how I do that. I may create a voice for Toto. I haven't thought about it yet. Or just give him barking noises, which is more likely, which will be actually easier to do than have him speak. But the fun thing is about you do whatever you want to do. My Dorothy, so if you know the original Wizard of Oz, she actually has silver shoes, but the famous film made it red ruby slippers, and I have red Timberlands. But in the original book, she's about 15 years old. I made her about 30 years old, just because I'm rather fat. I kept Toto. I changed, a bunch of characters, but during the spirit of it. But it's my version. And, that book was written, I think, in 1920 something, maybe earlier. So it's, well into the public domain. And that's why there's so many things wicked and, a bunch of things. I forget his name, Gregory, I think, Wire or something, with a bunch of books. Disney, everybody's, this is the thinnest thing because it's just a beautiful series of books. So I'm going to stop here. But basically, what this awesome thing is sort of the video journal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just do things and then record it and show people. I think people can learn from that, but I'm going to do it for myself. But if you look at my channels, and I have 3 of them, one for my nonprofit, one for Musnik, and one for my classes, and you like the work I do, then I'll show you how to do it. If you don't like the work I do, I don't know why you're on the channel. But if you don't like the work I do, there are people who come to my channel to just whine. Have a laugh. Get a laugh, dude. If that's what you're doing, do it somewhere else. If you have a positive energy, you're welcome to be at my channel. I don't know if I can block people. I don't really read the comments that much. But if I can block you, I will if you are irritating. But if you're, just a solid person or just don't say anything, that's great. But if you have questions, real questions, not just whining, then I'll try to answer them. Mainly, I'll show you what I do, my process, and the way, to say, do I want to learn this guy's process? Look at the work. If you like the work, I sculpt voices. I create these things. And if you hear it or you look at it and you like it, then you'll probably like, the series, because I'll show you how to do that, even with your own voice, which I do quite a bit, or somebody else's voice, or your child's voice, or I took a recording of my father and created a voice for him so he could speak again. These are the things that you can do with AI, which is insane. It's insane what you can do with AI. So this is my sort of journal, just sort of a public journal of my making this, my version of the Kid or the Wiz. But because I'm a teacher primarily and a professor, I'm going to make it in such a way that I'll share my experience. And if you've ever been in one of my classes, and I teach 5 classes a semester and have probably 2,000 alumni students, it's all learning by doing. You learn by doing. And so this is what this is going to be about. It's going to be about learning by doing it. So hopefully that lets you sense of what this awesome thing's about. It's my personal project, plus it's my sharing my process. And again, it's my process. So I'll share my process. But if it's something, if you don't like my work, then why are you going to like my process? If you like my work, you like the stuff that I do, then my process is probably interesting to you because it's different than I think most people use AI. I have a PhD in computer science. I have an MBA. I have several master's degrees. Started working at think tanks when I was 19 years old. So the way I do things is not the way other people do things. Morris's channel, the channel won't be all the other channels. There's bazillion channels that sort of take you through how do I click this button, how do I click that button. That's not this channel. But you'll get a sense of how I teach and what I teach as I do this. But this is just an intro. So this Oz Songs project is about learning by doing. It means sort of documenting my process while I'm doing it. And I'll write custom tools. I'll write individual AI tools to do a very specific task. And I'll show you how to do it. So that's something that you might be interested in. You'll probably be interested in this. If you look at my work and don't like it, then there are a bazillion other channels. Go to them. Okay, hopefully that gets you a sense of what this Oslungs thing is about. I will begin, as best as I can to try to get a video or so out a day or every other day. Take care.